Well, good morning. My name is Jürgen Michalski. My agency, as Jürgen said, is Realgestalt. We are just a walking distance around at Kurfürstendamm. And I'm happy to show you this morning our work for Märkisches Viertel. And when I show it, I'm just part of the team. The creative director and the team behind is Anne Kohlermann and Cornelius Mangold and Dave Hengi. So I'm the one to tell the story, but they did the work. And the topic, minimal, fits perfect, I think, for our project. And the minimal aspect of our work is presented, I think, by the most minimalistic geometric form, the circle. And my story today is how this circle can lead to a maximal variety. That's what I would like to show you. I will talk about the next 20 minutes about the Märkisches Viertel as one of Berlin's high-rise housing settlements. I will tell you a little bit about our perception of the people of the Märkisches Viertel, the people who live there. I will explain you our creative idea and how it came to life. And at the end, I will talk a little bit about this communication matrix, which we did to work on this whole project together with our client and the other agencies, because this is a group of agencies who is working for the whole project. Before I start, is there anyone in this room who has been at the Märkisches Viertel before once in his life? Please raise your hand. Oh, wow, that's a lot. Ah, well, that's almost too much. Because I have a present for you at the end of the presentation. I hope I have enough, but you get something. So at the end, I ask you again, just come to me and I give you something. But for the rest, I think I have to talk a little bit about what the Märkisches Viertel is. So let me start with general high-rise housing in Berlin. Well, this is, as you might say, the approach, the minimal approach for architects when it comes to architecture. One size fits all. You have one window size, one balcony, one color, one floor plan, and that's it. Yeah, that's high-rise housing in big scale, and that's what the Märkisches Viertel did 50 years ago. Märkisches Viertel is one of the most profiled high-rise housing settlements in Berlin. It began 50 years ago. It is one of the largest West German estates with 17,000 apartments for around 37,000 people. It was built in the north of Berlin between the 60s and the 70s of the last century. And the area is dominated by buildings which are one of them, for example, is almost 1 kilometer long. I think I have it here. And high-rise blocks between 6 and 20 stories. In Germany, 20 stories for residential living is quite much. Maybe not in other countries, but here it was quite innovative. This district was meant for people from West Germany, from immigrants, who came here for labor, for jobs and labor after the wall was built, and for inhabitants of other areas of the city, which been older and neglected, who wanted to have a new modern apartment. Some pictures here, you see how it looked when it was built 50 years ago. And to live in the Märkisches Viertel at this time was a promise for the future. It was a great opportunity to live a modern way of life, get out of the old buildings, move into a new one. So it was kind of a promise for all those people. It was kind of an optimistic perspective. But as it turned out, it didn't take too much time that the Märkisches Viertel developed a bad reputation. It lost its attraction after a couple of years, in the 70s already. And more poorer people expelled by the urban redevelopment had to be provided new homes, and they moved there. And the Märkisches Viertel got some names like, for example, it's a ghetto. That's what they call it here in the press. You have to live in concrete castles. The apartments are lock boxes for blue-collar workers. it will develop into a slum. So it didn't take so much time. After the 70s already, the image turned completely. This is not very nice, these descriptions, but that's the way it was in these days. But believe it or not, things have changed. In this case, they have changed for the better. And the Märkische Viertel is about to celebrate its 50th birthday this year. And I showed you the old pictures, now I come to the new ones. And it changed and it developed in a good way. The Gesobau, which is the owner of the most buildings in this Viertel, invested millions of euros to change the architecture, to improve it. The very entrance halls have been changing into inviting architectural gestures. They had a new service orientation. First of all, they invested into a sustainable, energy-efficient retrofitting of every single apartment. So they really did a huge investment to give this quarter a new future. Here, for example, I think these apartments are still free. Yeah, I heard that. These are the, how do you call them? The, excuse me? Atelierwohnungen. I think they even were built for artists and designers at this time. Yeah, about 2 floors with a large rooftop, and they are quite attractive. And I think one of them is still for rented. But as you maybe one of you is new in Berlin and you know a little bit about the housing market, the Märkische Viertel is, as I might say, sold out almost to 99%. So it's quite well in the market right now. As part of the birthday celebration, the Märkische Viertel invested into a project to give the residents a present. And that's where we, Realgestalt, came into play. They asked us to develop a brand design for the quarter. This was our job, and that's what I talk about. Before I come to our idea, here's some more pictures. Here, at night. And that's alive now, it's a circle here at the center of the city. I would like to show you where it is. The Märkische Viertel, as I said, is the north of Berlin. That's here in the middle, that's where we are, the little spot maybe right now, the orange lab. And if you go to this direction to north, that's where you end, that's the Märkische Viertel. And there's something which is special about it. When you go there, you take one route in and you take the same route out. This is special because the Märkische Viertel does not have its own subway station. When you want to go there, go to Wilhelmsruhe. That's correct, yeah? Wilhelmsruhe? Bitte now, sorry. Bitte? Yeah, but the subway station is Wittenau, sorry, Wittenau. And then you have to take the bus, and you take the same bus out, which is different, oh sorry, I have to go back, to other quarters, because when you live, for example, in Kreuz, or let's say in Friedrichshain, and you want to go to Tempelhof, you cross Kreuzberg. Or when you live in Tiergarten and you go to Wilmersdorf, you cross Schöneberg. So you are in other quarters without living there. You just move around. You are here now and you go somewhere else, so you cross different quarters. But in the Märkische Viertel, it's different. You are there because you live there, or you work there and you want to be there, but otherwise you have no reason. So it's a little bit like an island. Yeah? And this island character, I think it made something special for the community of the people who live there. At least this was our perception. When we started to work, I've never been there before, and I think nobody of our team. We went there to meet the people, to talk to them, and we had the feeling that they have a special attitude. They, at least this was our perception, they behaved like a host, and they were kind of proud to talk about it. They presented themselves. These kind of pictures have been done within 10 minutes. Everybody was ready to show the sign, I'm living here, that's Märkische Viertel. Everybody gave it, at least we had the impression, quite a good feeling about it. And I think it has to do with this island situation, that it's isolated in a way. Of course you can go in and can go out, but they are on their own. Only the people who live and work there are there. The rest never comes there. And this awareness and this feeling about it was quite important for us, because about the individuals who live there, they all have something together. This feeling, we are the one who form the Märkische Viertel. That leads me to our creative idea. The name, obvious, Märkische Viertel in German translates in English into Märkisches Quarter. And quarter has a meaning, as you all know, it's a part of something, and the other meaning is exactly 1/4 of something. And this helped us a lot to think about something creative, and it turned it into a graphic concept based on this minimalistic circle, which I showed you at the beginning. So we played around with this. We found out, okay, it's a quarter, not exactly the quarter of Berlin, but a quarter of Berlin. But it's a fourth part of something. In this case, we illustrated with fourth part of a circle. And well, there are lots of words where we use the word quarter or Viertel in our daily life. You take a quarter of a bread, for example, you might call it the Märkische Viertel if it's a Märkische bread. Or some of you might remember the famous quarter pounder of one hamburger chain. Or when you share a pizza and you are 4 of them, you only get a quarter. Yeah. So well, it all comes together, and these are all round shapes, which led us to our idea. We just take the circle and we highlight it 1/4. That's very simple. And actually, this was simple to play with it. We just added colors, as you see here, and we changed them. We just bring it to life, so we get some movement in it. And we added, of course, a name, obviously. So we have to work with the name as well. So, and once we changed the colors, we started to add the architecture, for example, or illustrations, objects, the people themselves, the name. Yeah, as I see here, little cakes or donuts or whatever. You can put everything into this very simple shape, and you always get the same story, quarter. In this case, Märkisches Viertel, Märkisches Quarter. I have to look at my little list. I'm a little bit lost right now. Okay, here I am again. And once you start, you can play with it. And that's just easy. It just comes easy to you. Everything seems possible. You can make jewelry, you can put it on your bike, on the Rentner Porsche, as we call it in German. I don't know the English translation. They have it a lot at the Märkische Viertel, this on the left side. And you can make sunglasses with it. And again, buttons and T-shirts and watches and everything. Everything is possible. Bags, very easily done. And you can play around with, yeah, Pappteller, and in certain colors. Of course, you make stickers for the people, little sticker, keyholes, yeah, bonbons, whatever. And if you have a shop there, you highlight your special of the week with a Märkische Viertel quarter. It's very easy. You don't need a word. You don't need even the name. You just show it, and people recognize it. Even it varies the whole time. It's always the same because it's so simple and so easy to understand. You can play around from the bird's view and show that you are there or part of it. You can highlight events, for example. Yeah. So it all comes together. And now, of course, we have this poster there for public viewing. Everything comes together, and everybody knows this is the Märkische Viertel. You can show it on a bike. This brings me to signage. Of course, it's a huge area. As I said, there are about 37,000 people living there in 17,000 apartments. There are lots of buildings, lots of routes. There are parks. There are shopping areas. There is everything. And of course, this helps to maybe show the way where you have to go for a certain action in this way. Running, or when you have your garage, which they have there, you can make it your own in a very simple way. You just decide for your color, you just decide what to put on it, and there it is. You can highlight this still quite grand beton structures with these very simple way to bring color to it and form and shape and a message. Well, you might use it there as a sticker and here as a wall. Of course, you can produce flags, which they did right now. We have the first there right now, and for this we changed a little bit. We use the circle for the 0 of the 50, and you have the flags right now in the Märkische Viertel to make all the people aware we are celebrating the birthday, the 50th birthday of the Märkische Viertel in 2014, which is wonderful. We have a huge poster to welcome everybody. And again, you show here the variety of the people who live there and the life which came to it over the last 50 years. When you take the bus, when you got out of the subway, you take this bus, you go Wilhelmsruher Damm, back and forth. There you have the Brückenbanner, which you see from both sides. So even there you see it. That's the entrance to the Märkische Viertel. And we celebrate the birthday this year. This is a website which will be online on Monday. So Mein Märkisches Viertel is the URL. So please go there on Monday and check it, because lots of things are happening there on this website. I come to this later, but this is a website which is for a städtische Wohnungsbaugesellschaft, I think quite nice to look at and very easy to use. I must again emphasize everything we did for the residents. It's not for the politicians, it's not for the world. Of course, the world is invited to use it, but we always had the residents in mind, the people who live there. So we made it very easy, very easy to use. Of course, it's responsive for your iPhone. And we made it very playful. Again, we can use our circle and our little object to illustrate certain subjects which we present on this website. I come to the subjects later. One of the subjects will be the logo generator. As you can imagine, if you combine, let's say, 100 colors with 100 structures, you have the opportunity to have 10,000 different logos. I think that's right. If you add 50 more, you have 30,000. So it's quite easy to produce 30,000 or 37,000 different logos for each inhabitant. And of course, we invite the people to do it themselves. We made it very easy. You just go there, you play around, you push the button, and it rotates around, and there is your logo. If you like it, you print it, you get the PDF file. We have a, of course, a coffee shop where you just send it, and then you get your T-shirt, your coffee mug, whatever you want. Yeah? So it's quite easy to produce. And I really think that people will do that. We found out we had an event there already, and they really like to play with it. I'll show you later. And this will be presented next Monday and ready to use. So that's how it works. Just push the button, choose your logo, download the file, go to your copy shop, and use it. Here, the Märkische Viertel had its first big event. It was in May. They celebrated the so-called Viertelfest, another nice way to use the name Viertel. And the Viertelfest was the first chance for us as an agency to see how a brand design comes alive, how people make it their own, how they play with it, and they really, well, of course, they understand it, and they really have fun to use it. At the center of the Märkische Viertel, when you get out of the bus or from your bike or your car, there is a so-called Viertel box. It's a small little building exactly at the center, and there every week, months, maybe even days, something is happening. Of course, there again, we used the logo to tell the message at this box. They have lectures there, discussions, maybe something of music or small exhibitions or community events. So there is an agency which uses the Viertel box and invites the residents to go there for a little community event, and it will be run for the next years. Here they opened it at the Viertelfest, as you see here, with a red ribbon, and they started to play. Yeah. They used the logo, they put it on themselves, and it was very easy to, we didn't have to tell them, they just did it on their own, and they really had fun, as you see here. And yeah, it's suddenly it was everywhere. They just did it themselves. They used the stickers, they played around with it, and they really, really enjoyed it so much, and they loved it, and they didn't only want to put it on their plate or wherever. So the Gesobau decided even to give them the chance to eat it. So that's our design for the Märkische Viertel cake, which was one of the little highlights there. So people really enjoyed sharing the cake, eating the design, and just having a good time. I think it was a very big success. That's what I heard. At least the pictures tell us the story. And it was wonderful for us that we had something which was so easy to understand, to approach, to make it your own, to play with it without any Ablehnung, as I may say. So it just came to life very natural. As I said, the website, which will be launched, Tuesday, 2nd of June, Tuesday, I have to correct myself, has more to offer than the logo generator and general information about free apartments, although there are almost no free apartments. But if you want to look for one, you go there, of course. But there will be quite a big architecture exhibition. The Gesobau invited different experts. We are the brand design experts, but they invited different experts to work on different projects, and it all came together. And one highlight of the next 6 months will be an architecture exhibition at the Märkische Viertel. So SBCA, that's Sally Belo Cultural Concepts, who run the Biennale Pavilion in Venice right now, they developed an exhibition about the history of the Märkische Viertel. They had different subjects like culture, work, art, residence, architecture, and so on. And this exhibition is outside. You go there, they have information boards and posters everywhere, and you get the exhibition at the building, at the site itself, and you walk around. And on the website again, you find the content of this exhibition. So everything later, which will be exhibited, will be documented on this website for the future, instead having a book. So it's for those who will not go there, it's available worldwide. So, and which is, I think, quite well innovative in this sense for this kind of area. They will invite people to go for a sound walk. So you take your iPhone or your smartphone, you have your ear set, and you go to our website next Tuesday, and you walk around, and the GPS will pop up and show you there's something to listen. So you go to certain stations, and then you have a sound installation. Maybe it's something from the past, maybe it's music, maybe it's just an artistic interpretation of what you see. Maybe you get clear information about what to look at, and there are a couple of stations, and you go to, you just use your iPhone, you push the button, walk around, you have 6 different routes, and have maybe 2 hours to walk and to learn in a very easy way and to experience the Märkische Viertel from acoustic and musical way. Everything will be presented through this website. They invited another expert team, Gesobau. In this case it was 24/7 Media. 24/7 Media is a journalist team, a high-profile journalist team, which does features, for example, for Stern, for Geo Spezial, for Spiegel. So they travel around the world, they talk to people, they film it, they make infographics and interviews and everything, and present it in those magazines, on those websites. And the Märkische Viertel invited these experts to make films about the residents. They started with 3 films, which will be online again on the website next week, and they will continue over the next 2 years, or 1 year. So there will be 36 films about the different residents who live there. They tell the story, where they come from, how it's to live there, how it is to work there, to raise their children, and whatever, what their experiences are. And the way you see the films, I don't have to repeat it, is the website. So it all comes together there, and you all can see it on your iPhone and everywhere. Starting next Monday with this lady. So please go and listen to her. And as I said, we are the brand design agency, but we are just one part of the team. And we wanted to find a way to bring it all together and to give a big picture of the Märkische Viertel, but at the same time to cover every detail. And since the concept is minimal, we have the logo and the little circle up there on the left side, but we put it around up to every single detail and everywhere it appears. If it's the architecture, if it's a sound walk, if it's the Viertelfest, which I just showed you, the events, I think you start to produce now for cinema, popcorn, bags and whatever. Everywhere will you have it. And to have the complete overview, we developed this very simple matrix. On the left side, I would like to explain it. We talk a little about the target groups. So you have the residents, you have the public in Berlin, you have the experts like architects, of course, you have the politicians as well, and the media, which are part of the, will be addressed. Then on the up we have the, here in this area, I have to show there, sorry, you have the strategies, the objectives, and the measurements which they decided to take. We have the timetable with the events, when they will happen for the next 2 years. And then when it goes to the right, for each action, for each application, we can apply the budget, the objectives, and the results. So this is the instrument to work with for the next 2 years, and to show that it all comes together from one minimal starting point, the circle, to the big picture, which can be applied in a maximum variety. So this is my little story. Thank you for listening. That's the last chart. Good night here at Märkische Viertel. And for those who have been there, please join me. For others, I would like to start my little logo animation.
you very much.